Hello and welcome to our cottage garden. I am so excited about our video today. We're just going to be hanging out in the garden. We have some garden to-dos. It's almost the full moon, so there are some spiritual things we're going to be doing outside with some crystals. But to start off, I have my harvest basket and we're going to go harvest some herbs and some flowers for a really beautiful, very calming but energizing herbal tea. We have a very exciting video coming soon, so I can't show you the back of the house, but stay tuned for that. We're gonna head into the English Sunken Garden. Can't get over it. Love it so much. So right now, we've got some pineapple sage, some yarrow, achillea, some rosemary. It smells so amazing. And some stevia. So we're growing some stevia and it just makes, it's crazy how sweet it is. I'm going to take all of these. I might add some lemon balm. And I think we're gonna add some ginger as well. And then I might kind of rifle through the apothecary cabinet. But what I'd like to do is I set some water out to be charged in the moonlight. If you don't know, I'm a Reiki practitioner. I'm a Reiki master teacher and practitioner. And so I love working with natural elements. I love connecting with spirituality in my gardening practices and all throughout my life, kind of peppering it in. But I charged some water in the moonlight and the starlight last night. And I like to use that to make aura mists and sprays and things like that. But I think what I'm gonna do is use some of that water for this tea. I have some frozen ginger that I think I'm just going to grate into that as well. And then we might set it out here and let that tea just steep in the sunshine. That might be a really great way of kind of channeling and harvesting that energy as well. So I'm gonna grab some lemon balm. It's a little bit breezy, but it's gorgeous today. And we'll go ahead and make this very calming but energizing tea. Okay, here is our apothecary cabinet. And I just wanted to kind of have a little snoop through here and see if there's anything that we want to use for our tea. We have this flower fetty we made in the other video recently. That was such a fun project. We've been topping all kinds of things with it. We do have some lemon verbena from last year. Lots of chocolate peppermint. I think maybe I'll use some echinacea as well. Yeah. So I'm just going to break up the leaves with my fingers. And that just releases the oils. This is the best job ever. It smells so good. So if you're new to herbalism, if you're just getting into it, I would suggest starting with things that are really easy. Things like mint, maybe lavender. Maybe you're not growing an apothecary garden, but maybe you're going to visit your local herbalist or a natural food store in your area. I think the easiest things to start with are things like a lavender tea, chamomile tea. Those are some really easy ones, but if you're making your own apothecary garden or maybe just growing some things in pots, some herbs and some medicinals in pots that you want to add in, I would go probably things like lemon balm, mint in pots. I love chocolate peppermint. Orange mint is really great. Pineapple sage is incredible. You could do echinacea as a perennial, lemon balm as a perennial. There are just so many things that you can kind of start out with that are pretty easy, pretty easy to grow, pretty easy to harvest, and then kind of branch out from there. Because I think when you're starting any new thing, any new hobby or something that you're just curious about getting into, I think starting somewhere where it's sort of foolproof, sort of easy, and you can easily make recipes that taste delicious and you can notice the benefits right away. I think that's really helpful. So lemon balm is just a fantastic one. I think that's probably the one I would suggest that you start with, is lemon balm. But it's also so fun to be able to create something that tastes amazing. So adding the stevia in there is so much fun. So just using some of this rosemary, and then I'm going to add a little bit of ginger, but we got to add our echinacea first. Just a little pinch. Now I'm just going to grate a little bit of frozen ginger in there. Okay, so now I'm just going to find a sunny spot and I'm gonna let this steep outside in this beautiful sunshine, and then we'll get to something else. The next thing I'd like to do is to do a little bit of perennial cutback in our dining garden. Probably brunnera, geraniums, tiarella, and forget-me-nots. How pretty does that fern look that we planted the other day in there? I love it. I forgot to say this in the video, but Burt foraged that from our property. Just went and grabbed that and we put it in the pot. I think it looks great. So let me show you where we're at in the dining garden right now. So over here, we have lots of astilbes. We have some nepeta back here that's starting to bloom. We have some beautiful wildflowers in here. We have this beautiful purple flower. If you know what that one is, let me know. It's gorgeous and it looks beautiful with all of the yellow evening primroses out here that also grow wild. Things are just looking really nice and full and happy. But it's this area here that I want to focus on. So we have lots of perennials from earlier in the year, and I just like to refresh this space. So as you can see, the geraniums need to be cut back, the brunnera and the forget-me-nots, and we need to cut back our alliums. And while I'm here, I'm just going to take some of the forget-me-not seeds and just kind of sprinkle them throughout the border as well, because I really want that misty blue to be all throughout this border for next spring. It looks like it's already spreading itself. That's nice. So here's a bunch of the forget-me-not seeds dried back perfectly, and this is a great time to harvest. So you can either harvest these seeds, maybe put this in a paper bag, and then sow these seeds maybe in the springtime of next year. Or if there's another area that you want them to naturalize, you can dig up a little clump while they still have these on them and plant them somewhere else. Or you can take these and just kind of shake them or strip each individual stem like this, the way I've been doing. So you get all the seeds like that, and then just sort of disperse them. It's a pretty windy day, so I'm probably gonna strip them like this instead of shaking them out so they go exactly where I want them to go. But I've been weeding this border as well, and the thing with weeding is you kind of have to know the weeds that are in your garden, right? Because especially if you have a cottage style garden, a lot of the gardening is sort of about editing. Because things are going to self-seed. Like, I want the forget-me-nots to be spreading themselves all over. I want the foxgloves to be spreading their little seedlings all over. I want the wind to be spreading those foxglove seeds all throughout my garden. And violas as well. Those are probably our most common of the plants that I just love to see all over and spreading all over. So when you're weeding, you just kind of want to know what's a weed and what's a seedling that you want to keep. And so I was keeping any forget-me-not seedlings that had already started, any violas that were already there, any little foxgloves, which I just saw 2 little babies that had already started to grow. But then I weeded everything else. I just removed everything else that I didn't want in the border. So let me go ahead and go into another area and spread some of this forget-me-not beauty. All right, it looks like this bed is all done, so we'll move on to the next one. So we have kind of a funny thing happening here. This is a cottonwood. We have lots of cottonwood trees on our property, and this is a little sapling. And so many aphids are on it, and the ants are just going for it. So let me show you. So this is typically something that I would weed. You know, I don't want this cottonwood growing in the front of our border here. However, if you can see in here, do you see how many aphids are on this little guy? And then the ants are coming in and eating the aphids. So I'm gonna leave this because I'm gonna use that as sort of a trap crop. But I am gonna weed, like that's an oak seedling. I'm gonna weed and kind of clean up all of this. But I just think that's interesting. Planet Earth over here. David Attenborough, who? Okay, those beds are looking really sharp and they're all ready for the astilbes to start blooming here in just a few weeks' time. Put a check next to that project and let's move on to the next one. The dragonflies are all over, I love them. I want to clear up this geum here in the porch bed. It's just looking a little brown and a little tattered. You know, it's been up for quite a while. We've had a lot of wind and a lot of, really cold temps since he came out because it's a really early bloomer. And so we're going to go ahead and just cut off some of those more tatty looking leaves because this is a pretty prominent part of our garden and I just want it to look a little bit fresher. So see how they're just getting eaten a little bit and they're a little bit brown, but then underneath there is some new stuff, and I think if we cut them back, maybe fertilize them, they'll be a lot happier. right, that looks much, much better having those cut back. Burt just got home, and so I think we're gonna make some lunch and enjoy that. But I think before that, I'm gonna go ahead and grab some crystals from upstairs, crystals that I wanna use for the next few Reiki sessions that I do. And I'm gonna go put them on one of our mossy stones to just have them charge in this beautiful full moon. So we'll do that now. So here is our GM. They look much better, much happier. You having a good day? Yeah? No. Okay, I have a few of the stones that I want to be charging outside, but the full moon, you know, I like to use the energy of the full moon for clearing and cleansing. So this can be a time of sort of shedding past beliefs or just shifting my mindset, releasing things that aren't serving me. That's kind of the theme. But for this one in particular, I'm going to charge some of the ones that I love using outside, making sure that they're nothing that's water soluble, so anything like selenite or kyanite you don't want to leave outside. But I'm going to be charging this fossil. This is a great one for clearing. This is howlite. This is a wonderful stone, like a very calming, peaceful stone, a great one to meditate with for calm energy. Some empathetic warrior, clear quartz points. I'm gonna charge those outside. Cutie little pineapple quartz. That's a really sweet one, so I'm gonna charge that for sure. And I'm also gonna charge my pendulum. It's a clear quartz pendulum. I'm gonna charge that, but then I have a few bigger crystals that I wanna charge outside as well. Okay, so I wanna make sure that there's nothing like, I don't wanna charge amethyst outside because that can affect the color, the richness and the saturation of that color. It can kind of dull it out. But I do wanna do some grounding. So I'm gonna use Septarian, this beautiful petrified wood. I'll use that. Clear quartz point, definitely. This is a little clear quartz cluster. That's a great one. And tiger's eye. Love this. So here's my little tray. I also included my rattle, my ritual rattle, because I think I'm gonna do some sessions with that rattle coming up here. So this is a really pretty spot, just in the woodland, and there's a gorgeous giant boulder here. So I think I'm gonna place all the stones here. I'm gonna take a moment, send them some Reiki, and just enjoy how peaceful it is out here right now. I just took a moment to set our intention and just to kind of meditate with the stones, sent them some Reiki. Yeah, I don't usually share kind of the behind the scenes of my Reiki practice very often, but I love using the elements and the energy around us to kind of charge the stones and connect more deeply with the properties and kind of meditate on the meaning of the stones. I find that really grounding. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is tackle the cucumbers that are climbing up our birchwood tripods. So we have morning glories and cucumbers climbing up. I have a little bit more string and I'm just going to make sure that they're properly climbing. So I think I might either tether them, kind of like tie them up onto the tripod, or create a little lattice work with the string. Let me get in there and investigate, and then I'll share with you what I end up choosing to do. So here's one of the cucumbers, and the other one's kind of on the other side there. The morning glory is sort of everywhere, so I'm just gonna kind of tidy this up and encourage it to climb up here. because that cucumber is looking happy and healthy and it's already starting to bloom. Oh, there are some little miniature cucumbers on it. How fun. There are so many cucumbers on it. That's so cute. So I just created a kind of network for it to climb up, and then I'm just gonna sort of weave it throughout so that it starts climbing on its own. I think I might do the same on this side. This one is climbing up a lot better on this side. See how that's already climbing up? So I think I'm gonna do a similar kind of thing so that this is able to just climb. And I should probably deadhead these daisies. Maybe I can spread some of the seeds too. These cucumbers look so good. This one on this side definitely got the memo, and then hopefully this will just climb up here. Okay, so those are all done. I'm glad to have that chore done. But while I'm here, see this Nepeta? We have beautiful Nepeta on either side. So it's done its first spring flush, and now that first flush is starting to yellow out a little bit. But as you can see in here, there's lots of new growth at the base. So I think I'm just gonna tidy this up a little bit. You can see it really well on this side, where this growth is the older growth and that's the newer growth. Newer growth down here and the older growth here. And maybe we can harvest this for a little flower arrangement. Smells amazing. That was quick and easy. So that's for the compost, that's for flower arrangements. I'm gonna leave that in there for now. Looks a little wild, but I'll leave that in there for now while we have lunch. We just ate lunch, that was so good. We had Thai curry, like a green Thai curry that we made the other night. And Burt made a green Thai curry wrap for lunch today with a big hearty salad, and it was just so delicious. And now I think we're going to water a few things. I just noticed that in this heat, you know, this far north, things aren't really used to getting this much heat and sun. So they just need a little bit of water to just kind of keep them going. We don't use any soaker hoses or drip systems or anything like that, just because we get so much rain here on the mountainside. But sometimes that means you have to supplemental water. So we either use the hose or a watering can and just come around and water things. But like yesterday, it was raining all day. The day before that, we had showers in the afternoon. So it's pretty easy for us to just get by without watering. But on a hot day, we just want to make sure everything isn't shocking and is feeling nice and cool at the roots. There we go. Everything looks much happier now. Okay, now I want to do a little bit of work in the back of this border. I love the back of our long borders here. I just think they're so peaceful and calming with the hostas and the astilbes. It's just so beautiful. All of our hostas that we started from tubers, and then all of the astilbes that we divided. We have some really beautiful sun patiens. And this is my favorite hosta bloom here. I just love it. And the hummingbirds love it. It's just such a soft, beautiful bloom. Really gorgeous. And that soft purple is just stunning, especially right next to the interrupted fern back there. We have some coleus that's still alive, but barely. We lost a few of them. But hopefully those can do something this year. But the project that I want to tackle now is we have this dahlia here, right there in that pot. So basically, we had a bunch of dahlia tubers, and one of them just was looking kind of rough. One of the tubers that was part of the clump looked like it was a little rotten. So I was like, let's just skip it. We'll throw that one out. We have so many dahlias. We divided all the tubers and stuff like that. So we had so many dahlias. But Burt was determined, so he planted that up. And you know what? It made it. And it's actually looking really, really healthy and happy. So we're going to go ahead and transplant it into our long borders here in the cottage garden. But the question is, where do we plant it? I was thinking about doing it in the back of the border there, but I actually think there's a gap right here that I might want to fill. So that's where we just cut back the nepeta. We have lots of beautiful stuff, the lamb's ear. And then right here, we have a couple of dahlias that we just put the tubers straight in the ground. That one there and that one there, that's looking huge. And then right here, we have some Shasta daisies that are all done. And we have a kale from last year that's come back. That pink profusion salvia looking horrible. Oh my gosh. The slugs have just completely decimated it. So sad. Anyway, I'm thinking we might put the dahlia kind of right there. That might be a good spot for it. We have some baptisia and foxgloves and all that kind of stuff there. So I think right in that area might be a good spot for the dahlia. This dahlia does not want to come out of this pot. So I wet it down a little bit, and I'm going to use this Hori Hori knife. I can leave this linked below, but I use this for everything. They did send it to us for free. This is the Sen Green Hori Hori knife. I use it for so many things. I use it for weeding, for digging in the rocks. It's pretty amazing. But they did send it to us, but this video isn't sponsored. So I'm just getting the Hori Hori knife around the outside, just trying to loosen it up. Okay, that's coming out much better. All right, now we can get this planted. Okay, I'm really happy with that. I think that's gonna look really gorgeous there. But one thing I think I might do, this pink profusion salvia just looks like it's not cutting it. I don't think it's gonna survive. I could pot it up. Maybe I'll do that. I've done that with a couple of the Hoopla Vivid Orchid super tunias. They were just being completely eaten by the slugs, so I potted those up. And I'm just sort of like mollycoddling them and hoping that they just make it through with all of my love and attention. So I might do that with this, but I also might scrap it. It's just looking so rough. But what I think I will do is, let me show you. So that's just kind of a prominent spot in the border. And it was gonna take up this space and be kind of that fuchsia pink next to our Cleome and our pink cashmere superbena. But behind here is one of our play in the blue salvias. But there's like dahlias all around and some phlox. And the Cleome has just gotten so much bigger. So I'm thinking that I'm gonna maybe transplant that salvia where this salvia is, so it can kind of fill in this spot. So as you enter into the garden, it's like right here, this kind of prominent spot. And so I'm thinking the blue there would be really nice with the pinks. And then the dahlias behind. 3 dahlias behind. I think that'll look really nice. You know, it's not ideal to transplant that right now. So I think what I'll do is head in the back. I'll show you what Burt's up to right now. And I think I might mulch the English Sunken Garden. There's just a few little spots where we've planted something and you can see the clay soil. Hi there.
Hi, baby.
We can't show you this project, but we have some exciting updates here. But what you working on here?
I'm trying to put together a garden arch with some scrap wood instead of buying some real wood for it. So I'm trying to cut some curved pieces to make it into the arch piece and just attach them together. That be a strange thing, but we'll see if it works.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be great. So here we are in the English Sunken Garden back here. And as you can see, there's just some areas like around the chives and things like that. This just needs some fresh mulch just to really distinguish lawn from flower bed. Everything is looking amazing in here. Look at this salvia. Oh my gosh. So that's the same type of salvia we're going to be transplanting in the front once the sun sets. Okay, did that. Looking sharp. All right, so I just went inside and grabbed my book and my French homework. And I'm gonna sit back here and have a black cherry popsicle and just hang out while Burt keeps working on this arch. So I'm just gonna chill until the sun sets, and then I'm going to probably transplant that salvia. But for now, I'm just gonna relax back here and enjoy this beautiful sunshine. What a glorious day. So I'm gonna put my shoes back on because I kicked them off. And it looks like the sun is set behind the mountain. So I'm gonna head out and transplant that salvia. I think that'll be really pretty. And then we're gonna check on Burt in the backyard. I think it'll be fun to have the arbor made out of scrap wood. Usually we do it from vines and branches from the property, like things that have fallen, trees that have fallen, things like that. And just kind of like little grapevines that are growing because they create a nice bend at the top. But I think this will be really nice to have something that we can paint that looks really cohesive with the other arbor that we have. Oh, I did want to say, I've had these shoes for ages. These are Navocas, built by kindness, made in Portugal. Their emblem is a hummingbird. And these are like a vegan leather shoe. And they're really, I think they're really beautiful shoes. They're like this brown woven kind of vegan leather fabric. Really nice. So if you're in the market for some nice vegan sandals, these are a good option. I got them in New York ages ago from Moo Shoes, I think it's called. Vegan shoe store in New York. I love this time of night because everything just looks so peaceful. It's such a peaceful time of night. I love it. All right, I think this little guy has had his chance. So we're gonna dig him up and transplant him right there. Okay, I gave it some thought and I decided to pot up the salvia. It looks horrible, but we're gonna see what we can do. So if this ends up surviving, this will be a before shot. Okay, I'll try and treat it really, really well. I'm gonna push the soil down and we'll go put it in the sunshine. Okay, I think it's looking really good. That'll be really perfect right there. I think that'll fill that in really nicely. And look how the cucumbers are already taking to that. That's great. The dahlia that we planted is looking good. It's all gonna fill in and look beautiful. And we just cut back this nepeta, but that'll fill in really nicely. So now I'm gonna check on our tea. We'll see how that's steeped throughout the day. And I think I might make Burt a little glass of iced tea if it's looking good. Hiya, you want to try some iced tea? This looks great. Are you want to try?
Yeah,
Look at this. This is looking great.
Yeah.
How fabulous.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that's great. I can't believe you made that all of scrap wood that we had.
Yeah, totally.
That's so good. That'll be great.
It's because of that, it's a little bit like a Dr. Seuss version of an arch, but I kind of
best
has
kind.
character.
Cheers.
There you go. That's good.
It's really good. I feel like the stevia needs more time. What I've noticed is that like the next day after you've put stevia in something, it tastes super sweet, but it does take a long time to steep. So when we make iced tea, putting the stevia in the pot and then putting the pot in the fridge usually helps. But it's nice, huh?
Oh, it's so good. Cheers.
You like it?
Yeah, I really like it. It's delicious.
Good. This looks great. So you painted it the cottage white,
Yeah.
and now we're just waiting for it
I gotta flip it over and paint the other side.
to dry, and then you'll paint the other side. Georgie, what are you doing? Do you like the English Sunken Garden? Well, it's actually the 4th of July, so I think we're gonna start making some dinner. Bert's probably gonna finish up this arch and then install that. But we're making elote de coyocan, which is like Mexican street corn. I love it. It reminds me so much of the time I spent in New York because I worked at a Mexican restaurant there. Best food ever. So we're gonna make that. We don't really eat that much processed food, but whenever, you know, like for special occasions, we will. And so we got the daring chicken. What is it, a barbecue or a buffalo?
Buffalo.
Oh my gosh.
Daring chicken just came out. We had to try it.
Yeah, daring chicken is such a good like vegan chicken alternative, which is kind of hard to come by. Usually they're like breaded and fried and stuff like that. But the daring chicken is really, really good. And we usually don't have it, but they came out with a buffalo version. So we're gonna do a big buffalo chicken salad and street corn.
Maybe a side of potatoes.
Maybe some potatoes. Yeah, that'll be really good. Maybe some like spicy potatoes or like curry fries.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that'll be really good. So we're gonna say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was such a chill, lovely day in the garden. If you like this kind of content, like this video, subscribe if you're not already. It really does help us out, and we'll see you again in the next one. Bye.